Hello and welcome back to Kaostv live coverage of the grand finals of the EUW Challenger Series number 4. I'm Etis, now joined by Spuddington, and we are into the picks and bans. Now, if you have just joined us, it has been an epic best of 5 thus far. We are into Game 5, the all-important decisive matchup. The first 2 games went to absoluteLegends, the second 2 games went to HeimerdingersCollosi. We've had some stomps, we've had some comebacks, we've had pretty much everything you could imagine. So, this is Game 5, Spud. The question is, are you looking forward to it?
I am so pumped for this. I am so excited. It's going to be getting underway so soon, and I was not expecting it to reach Game 5. I will be honest here. I mean, we've had obviously the first 2 games going convincingly, I'd say. Well, no, not convincingly, but the second game was very convincing to absoluteLegends, and it seemed like that first game, where they had that brilliant comeback, had kind of almost broken the morale of HeimerdingersCollosi, but obviously HeimerdingersCollosi not so easily beaten, have come back into it now. So we are looking at this final game of the 5 games possible, which is so nice. And I do see we are having some bands coming out: Zed, Twisted Fate, Draven, Zach, Diana, and possibly one more. I'm casting from the stream though, so I have a little bit of a delay. Metas, you're in the lobby. What's your stake?
Yeah, we have Jarvan and Kha'Zix locked in, with a Thresh also just being locked in as I was speaking. So lots of pretty strong champions here. Thresh regarded as one, if not the strongest support out there right now. His CC is just unbelievable. He's kind of like a Blitzcrank with just more CC. He can pull in targets, he can pull himself to the target. It's just very scary to play against. Kha'Zix has been played, I want to say, every game so far. I think he's been played all 4 games. So this is going to be his 5th showing. In the 3rd game, you had Bano playing him every time, and then I believe it was Yamato Cannon that picked him up, and that's who's going to be playing again, I would assume. So has been played a lot. Draven was actually banned out here from absoluteLegends, and that was very much directed at Freeze. Spuddington, Freeze's Draven is incredible. There's just no battling with it.
Yeah, in fact, Snipify's Draven was also incredibly good, but it looks like they didn't think that was worth that first pick slot. So yeah, Freeze has been putting down some real pressure from that Draven, but obviously banned out now, so we're likely to see more conventional AD carry pickups. I would be extremely surprised if we didn't see a Varus on one of these 2 teams here, possibly a Misfortune. I don't really know. It does currently look like absoluteLegends are going for a heavy AoE composition. I mean, you've got that Jarvan, you've got that potential lockup from that ultimate Rumble coming in on top of that Crescendo from Sona, all this AoE coming in all on top of just everything. So obviously a Misfortune pick wouldn't be too surprising to come from that. It would give them a lot of poke in that lane with that Sona as well. So wouldn't be surprising at all. Varus is also a possibility though. And on my screen, hovering over Nautilus, I assume they've locked in by now.
Yeah, they've locked in Nautilus and Varus, so Varus is not going to be open for absoluteLegends here. Could very well be a Misfortune, as you said. It would make a lot of sense with their composition. The scary thing for HeimerdingersCollosi, no way. No way. This has to be a placeholder. They've locked in Heimerdinger. Could we be seeing it, Spuddington? Could we see it?
No. We can't. I'm sorry. I have been ducked along by these people with their placeholder Heimerdinger picks. Which I should probably explain, actually, for anyone who doesn't know. If you don't have the champion available, you pick something like Heimerdinger, then you remake the lobby and pick whatever it was you should have picked in the first place. You let everyone know what they were picking, what that Heimerdinger is supposed to represent, though. They are not going to pick Heimerdinger, because so many times I thought, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? No. That is very disappointing. I do love Heimerdinger, but I would be so surprised if they picked Heimerdinger. I would eat my hair, all of it, just gone from my head. And I have a lot of hair at the moment. Well, not that much, but a moderate amount of hair at the moment, and that would be unpleasant. So I won't, maybe. But anyway.
I would probably pay pretty good money to watch you eat your own hair. I'm not going to lie. That would be fascinating to me. But it looks as though Heimerdinger, if he is a placement holder, is going to be for an AD, and it's going to be MF. We've just been informed from production. So Mystical Spuddington strikes again with his predictions of the MF, and it does make a lot of sense here, Spud. You know, so much AoE that will lock you down, Cataclysm, Equalizing, and the Crescendo on top of the bullet time. If they catch Varus without Flash in the midst of the Cataclysm, he is going to die. There is no 2 ways about it.
Demo is Kassadin. Okay, that's actually making a lot of sense. It does look like the counter that HeimerdingersCollosi are planning against Absolute Legends is much more of a kind of split push orientated approach. They are, however, going to have to go up against Ari if they choose to do that. And Ari is a really, really good, solid split pusher herself. If you put that teleport on her, she's surprisingly strong as a duelist. She can deal with characters like Kha'Zix in a one-on-one, and that could be their the reason they picked her, avoiding having that vulnerability to just not being able to 5-on-5 fight with their AoE comp. They will just have that RAB applying the pressure, preventing them from getting pressed in, because that is kind of what has happened in several of these games. You've had Kha'Zix just split pushing. It may have actually been Absolute Legends that did play that, though, in the early games.
Yeah, it was Banner and Absolute Legends who split pushed to extreme success. You know, we have to give him props. He did a great job on Kha'Zix. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see something similar from Yamato Cannon, but I think Yamato Cannon is a much more aggressive, in-your-face kind of player. We've seen it time and time again with Rumble, for example. He likes to get super, super aggressive, and he has been caught out a few times for that aggression. But we are having the picks again here as the remake comes in. So you can have Rumble, Misfortune, Ari, Sona, and Jarvan on the side of Absolute Legends, and on the flip side, you're going to have for HeimerdingersCollosi the Kha'Zix, Thresh, Nautilus, Kassadin, and the AD, if memory serves me correctly, was Varus. So, from those two compositions, Spuddington, we are in the all-important deciding game. How do you think this is going to go? I know it's a tough question. I know a lot rides on it, but how are you edging towards right now?
If I had to just place a guess, I would say that Absolute Legends have the slight edge on composition, but if they fall behind at all, if you get that mobility starting to be abused by HeimerdingersCollosi, because they have that Kassadin, they have that Kha'Zix, they have those mobile characters, the ones with the dashes, with the jumps, with the blinks, the ones that can get around the map very, very quickly indeed, and can set up small skirmishes, small kills, then that AoE comp from AL won't be able to deal with that very effectively. On the flip side of that, though, if AL get ahead of themselves and they start dictating the pace of the game, if they start forcing dives, if they start going in mid, then, forcing that split push comp to kind of converge back to try and defend, then they obviously have a way stronger of a team fight comp. They are an incredibly powerful team, but obviously both sides have some serious potential in this game.
Yeah, we actually have two teleports for both the mid laners, so lots and lots of roaming potential here. Obviously, Ari and Kassadin are both known for their roaming potential without teleport. They're both very, very fast movers. You've got Spirit Rush for Ari and the Rift Walk from Kassadin. But ladies and gents, this will be the last time I say this tonight for this series. We're going to cut to a very quick commercial break. We've got about 2 minutes 30 on the delay. When you rejoin us, we'll be live for the grand finals. Final matchup here between HeimerdingersCollosi and Absolute Legends. You don't want to miss this. We'll see you right after the break. Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to this, the final game of the EUS Challenger Series number 4. I'm Ed, joined by Spuddington, and it is going to be HeimerdingersCollosi, I should say, facing off against Absolute Legends. 2-2 right now. It all rests on this, Spuddington. Just a quick kind of notice before we do get into the action. Spuddington is having a few lagging issues, so if he's lagging while casting a big team fight, I may jump in. It's no disrespect or anything, it's just to make sure we catch everything. Either way, Spuddington, are you here and lag free, and how are you feeling?
Depending on how my voice comes out on your end, I'm lag free. Otherwise, I'm not lag free. But I am here. I am very interested in actually getting into this game. I do hope I remain functional for the entire duration. But obviously, game is underway, and people are just kind of fanning out at the moment. Looks like nobody's going to be taking any huge risks in the early game. No real invades coming.
Yeah, this has been pretty much standard for today at least. We haven't seen any huge invades kicking off. None of the blue invades that we saw in previous days and previous tournaments that we've hosted. So that's kind of strange that things do change and switch around. Kha'Zix has to be really careful here. If Yamato Cannon goes into this bush, it could spell curtains. In fact, he's just going to pop down the ward, which actually has managed to survive on just 1 bar of health. But you're going to have the lane switches here, Spuddington, with Varus and Thresh going top lane, and Misfortune and Sona will be occupying the bot lane.
Okay, that makes a certain amount of sense. Obviously, preventing Sona and MF from getting that level advantage over your own bot lane is going to mean that you will have a lot less potential for early kills. I mean, Varus Thresh is also fairly strong early, but they're not quite on the same level as Sona and Misfortune, who are probably at level 1 and level 2 the highest damage AD carry support lane you could possibly run. I can't really think of anything better, but it's still obviously not going to be the biggest thing in the world. They are obviously putting Varus top, which is going to be interesting. I will say, I don't know who's going to do better out of Kha'Zix and Rumble. Do you have any particular thoughts on that?
Kha'Zix and Rumble is a tough one to call because obviously the Void Spikes from Kha'Zix will give him some sustain, but Rumble typically does very well in 1v2s. He's got the Flame Spitter that he can constantly harass. He can actually turn around a 1v2 situation and pick up a double kill. We've seen this quite a lot in the LCS, for example, where Rumble people underrate him and they underestimate his damage and then suddenly double kill. So I'm quite interested. Obviously, as ever, it comes down to the execution of the players at hand, and Yamato Cannon obviously going to be zoned out there doing a fair chunk of damage on towards Sona, but she's not going to care. Just going to preserve that life back up with the aura and continue to push forward. But we mentioned this before in the Champion Select. Heavy AoE CC damage comp coming out from Absolute Legends, but a very assassination, I should say, base composition for HeimerdingersCollosi. They've got the Kha'Zix and Kassadin. If they jump up and tag team somebody, they're going to fly down in health. They may even get from 100 to 0.
Yeah, and obviously that mobility is going to be really key. The interesting question, though, is going to be who's going to dictate the pace of this game. You have actually got High Switch turning up in this top lane here, just going to be letting Odam get up on some levels, and actually getting flayed there. Going to be taking a little bit of damage from the poke, but nothing too huge. Obviously, Aegis popped there by High Switch, and in fact, it looks like he's just going to stick around there. Nothing really to be doing right now. He has the buffs already, so he doesn't exactly have anything to be counter-jungled, so just going to stick around, put down some damage, keep the tower up as long as possible, and you can see Malunu actually doing much the same thing in that bottom lane. I'm interested, though, is Kha'Zix going to be able to make anything happen? He just, at the moment, is pretty much limited to farming with that missile and actually taking a bit of poke there. Whereas, Rumble is actually managing to, well, actually, they're 7 and 8 CS respectively. But Jarvan, actually, no. The CS is pretty much the same between both of them.
Yeah, but Kha'Zix is lower on health, and that could reflect in him being forced out of lane relatively soon. Jarvan did come up to top, he's gone back towards middle now. Some pings going down. Mithy is going to ward the bush and stop the ganks from coming. Here comes Nautilus at the bot lane. They're going to be jumping on towards Snipify. He's forced to flash away. Ignite's ticking down. Barry's been used as well. Can they pick up the first blood here? Yes, they will. And it's going to be on Maluno. So that's a 1-0 and a big play from HeimerdingersCollosi, starting off in the same form they've showed in the last couple of games.
Yeah, so obviously getting that red buff damage from Maluno, I feel, was actually the critical factor there. Just being enough to tip Misfortune over into being a dead Misfortune, as opposed to one who's gotten away. We have seen that, obviously, early kill, which is one of the things we've been seeing a lot from HeimerdingersCollosi over the past 2 games. We've been getting early kills, and they've really been snowballing them. Maluno now looking towards this mid lane. He's coming in, does have the anchor available. He is catching on to Bano, but I don't know if he's going to be able to really put down too much damage. Down a bit, but just going to back on out.
Yep, so pretty even in mid. Nautilus, again, Maluno is just exuding confidence right now, ganking all around the map. Doesn't seem to care too much about who it is that he's killing, but he's going to be pulling himself back towards the Wraith. Hasn't managed to hit 6 just yet. Recently digging up to 5, but as soon as he does hit 6, watch out for that depth charge that will be flying in. Let's have a look at Jarvan, still level 4. So he's a fair distance away from his Cataclysm. Did take a bit of time at top lane. Didn't get much for it. He is going to get death sentenced here, Rumble at the top lane. Some damage put down on towards him, but not enough to actually claim the kill. But again, it's enough to keep him back by his tower. He's not going to be able to be as aggressive anymore because he simply doesn't have the health to do so.
Yeah, now he's down to his last health potion, which is just about to tick down. So Maluno is looking for the dive. They do have the pink ward, and they do obviously therefore have the vision. In fact, he's not even looking for the dive. They're just looking to pressure this tower down. High switch is not there, so obviously Odamne is not going to be able to defend the tower alone without risking, obviously, the all-in and the subsequent kill. But Misfortune and Sona take down the bottom tower, so it's only going to be a 1-for-1 on towers. I suspect Maluno is still actually struggling to take it down. It will go down eventually, though they can't really stop that from happening. Kaostv Recall now has hit level 6, does probably have enough gold for a tier by now. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but actually going for the Catalyst instead. Catalyst and Boots, obviously pretty standard startup for Kaostv, but I think we are about to start seeing HeimerdingersCollosi's composition coming into its own. This is the phase where their mobility is going to be huge, but absoluteLegends are going for Dragon.
It's a very good point. Mobility is massive here for HeimerdingersCollosi, especially alongside the teleport Kaostv. But, as you mentioned before, the Drake is going down and there is no ward coverage here from the purple team. So that will be the final shot firing out from the muskets of Misfortune to pick up the Drake, and now going to be pulling themselves back. So they have managed to equalise the global gold pretty much to 200 now in favour of HeimerdingersCollosi with 1 tower apiece. And that first blood has been by and large neutralised. Also going to Nautilus. Would have been a bit more scary had it have gone to the Yamato Cannon's Kha'Zix. So he's going to go ahead and pick up the Null Magic Mantle and also the Longsword and go back to top lane now, actually. So they're switching back up. The duo lane is going to go back to bot. So you're going to have your standard meta for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and HeimerdingersCollosi is actually kind of in a battle to the death with Wraiths at the moment. He's going to pick that up just about okay. Going very low because he's not going to be able to assist. Bano, who has been silenced, has got the slow going down. Everybody wants to attack in, but not going to be able to take them down. Did manage to dupe the all-important anchor. And now it looks like Odamne is just going to be pressuring up this top lane. He knows Maluno was in mid just a second ago, and he knows where the enemy bot lane is, so he's not at all bothered by just sitting around at the tower. And I don't feel like Kha'Zix can really deal with him really at the moment. He's just not going to have the kind of all-in potential, and he's not going to have the same damage in a sustained fight as Rumble.
So you have the BF sword coming out from Varus here. Death Sentence goes across, actually lands on towards Misfortune, and also the Chain of Corruption has been popped off here. So the Ignite 2, here comes the teleport though from the side from Bano. Going to be jumping in, Charm lands, well played there. Freeze going very low, Depth Charge comes in. That could spell the end of Bano. He's trying to power through and pick up the kill, but Varus turns around, laughs and takes her out with ease. And that's going to be a 2-0, plus potentially the tower. Although having said that, you do have Jarvan coming down now into the fray, so you're going to have the 3 versus 3 situation, but nice play there from HeimerdingersCollosi once again.
Yeah, interesting thing though is that they did actually use Kassadin's teleport as well. He jumped straight down there, but didn't actually achieve anything. We've got the hook landing. Abyss has actually put crescendo though. We've got Jarvan coming in from the backline, and now he's going to be putting down a bit of damage on Mithy. Mithy is going low, but Sona has died. Cataclysm up freeze. Snipperby going to be putting down the damage, but Malulu is going to take out Snipperby, and I don't think either of these junglers actually has the damage to finish each other off now. So it's a 2 for 2. Everyone dies except the junglers. Blame the junglers.
Yeah, it's all a key mentality at the time. It's blame the jungler. They both look at each other and like, look, we may as well just save ourselves some problems here and just go back. I mean, we're never going to kill each other. So either way, BF Sword and Vampiric Scepter onto Varus after, of course, he managed to pick up the kill at the bot on towards Bano on Ari. Jarvan's picked up 2 kills as well. Miss Fortune has also added a BF Sword to her arsenal, but is still behind on CS and on kills and thus on gold. We do have Kassadin and Kha'Zix, this tag team combo that I would expect to see lay down the law going into mid to late game. Are going to be bumping fists as they exchange from mid to top here. So Kassadin's going to top and Kha'Zix is going to be staying around the mid, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, Rumble actually there did cut off Kassadin, but he's just he's Kassadin. It's pretty hard to cut him off from anything, to be honest. He just jumped over the wall to get away from that. And yeah, that roaming potential is so strong on these 2 characters, but they do have Ari, and Ari is going to be the critical factor in kind of keeping that at bay. She is a very similar kind of play style of character to both Kha'Zix and Kassadin. Obviously, against Kassadin himself, she will have a bit of a disadvantage in that she won't have the ability to deal with his silence particularly well. But in a long fight, actually, Odamne is now going to be trying to bait out Lego My Ego, who's just going to just flash out. Odamne going to be okay, but he's got to be a little bit careful. Lego My Ego does have the damage to bring him down pretty quickly, and High Switch is recalling. Malunu is in the area. They could go for this fight again. We have got the jump in there, but it's not going to be enough. Kha'Zix is very low in mid, though.
Interestingly enough as well, Jarvan actually popped his flash to try and secure the kill onto Lego My Ego, so his flash is on cooldown, will be sold for the next 300 seconds or so, whereas Kassadin just had to burn the Rift Walk, and he's going to be completely happy with that. Also, in fact, he did burn the flash as well, so I beg my pardon. Either way, we do have a slight engage coming down here. The box has been used, also the Chain of Corruption as well. Crescendo comes right back again, used defensively. Here comes a bullet time though from the side from Miss Fortune. She's such low health, but Sona's actually going to pick up the kill. So both supports, interestingly enough, die, but take each other out.
On the other hand, though, I think it was Freeze that picked up the kill for his team, and that's going to mean that Snipperby will be falling a little bit behind on gold compared to that other AD carry. Obviously, AD carries scale better than supports with gold. It's a fairly well-known fact at this point, though there is an argument to be made for giving at least 1 kill to your support so they can get those kind of gold generation items up earlier. Obviously, it gives them that little bit of advantage, lets them start taking control of the map with wards as well. But obviously, at the moment, Varus is 2-1 and 2. Full Bloodthirster, actually, same on Misfortune, so it's the double Doran there that's probably making the difference. But Bloodthirster on Varus, as compared to the gold on Misfortune, I'm actually a little bit curious how that gold is so similar. How, like, what is Varus using his gold for here? He's holding on to 220. Maths, how does it work? I don't understand.
Well, he has the extra Doran's Blade, and he's been picking up some pots as well, so maybe that is going towards it. But either way, you are going to have them moving back towards mid. Varus also does have about 50 gold more in his back pocket at the moment, so it is very close between the 2 AD carries. Meanwhile, in mid, you are going to have a bit of a race down here from both Kha'Zix and Malunu. Malunu does wait, though. Kha'Zix is just camping in the bush. Drake has just respawned, so that's the reason we have so much movement around this area. We still have Rumble at top, lagging behind somewhat, and Kassadin is back at spawn. Having said that, though, he does have the teleport off cooldown, so if something were to happen in the next few seconds, he could get down very quickly. But doesn't look to be the case. Mithy's just going to try and basically take this ward out. Sneaky play from Abyss, aggroing the Drake so that Mithy would take some free damage. But as a result, doesn't seem like anyone's too interested in Drake so far. And understandably so, Spuddington. No one wants to make that first leap and potentially lose the team fight.
Yeah, obviously the double assassins makes it very difficult for people to kind of slowly edge their way into position for absolute legends. But at the same time, the double assassin comp versus the AoE team fight means that Absolute Legends, if they do get into that position, could potentially just straight up win the fight in a 5-on-5, which isn't the fight that double assassins want. And Mithy, again, having to tank some dragons here. Actually, yeah, there we go. Does get the ward in the end, but Kassadin is going towards this top lane, and this is going to be the difficult part for Absolute Legends. They are going to have to contend with that split push Kassadin, and the potential for that Kha'Zix Mithy is looking for this potentially in mid. Olerin putting down the missiles. Just going to be putting a bit of damage down, but we have actually got the engage. Abyss has been caught by Malunu, but Malunu is in return getting caught out quite badly. High Switch jumps straight onto Freeze, who has to flash out. Bano teleports in, and now we have Malunu jumping out as well. Kassadin is still pushing in this top lane, though, and he does have his teleport available.
So that was 2 ults burnt from Absolute Legends, Crescendo and also the Cataclysm. In fact, make that 3 ultimates with bullet time going down as well. Abyss has been caught out here though. Freeze should be picking up this kill very, very comfortably. We're trying to get some wards down. Ari lands a charm on towards Kha'Zix, but it's not going to be following that one up as the Void Spikes come back. But with the player advantage, with no Crescendo, with no Sona on the battlefield, this could be the moment where HeimerdingersCollosi strike on Drake. There we go. Thresh has started this one off. Rumble at top lane. Kassadin's coming around from the side, doing a lot of burst damage. But again, this is just kind of, it's deception. It's keeping the other players busy while you take Drake. And they get the free Drake without any problems whatsoever.
In fact, he's done so well there, that Kassadin. He's just pushed Rumble completely away. And now Rumble is in an awkward situation because he can't actually duel Kassadin. His sustained damage is not very useful, but holding that thought, Snipify is in the bottom lane. We've got Malunu. Hello, Snipify. Have fun with some CC and some damage. He's just going to go down there. Does actually nearly take out Mithy in the process, but not going to be able to do so. And yeah, Kassadin stealing that blue buff away. And like I say, he's going to keep on split pushing because now it's become apparent that he can duel Rumble and probably duel Bano on that Ahri as well. In fact, I'd say to commit against Kassadin, you're going to need 2 people, and that's going to make it very difficult to position correctly.
Yeah, with the Rod of Ages, he's pretty tanky, and he's doing a fair bit of damage. He's there again, waiting in the wings, going to be popping down a quarter, or in fact a third more like of health from Rumble, but Rumble this time does bite back, dealing a fair amount of damage himself. Kassadin has about 1.5k gold at his disposal, so when he goes back it should be a bit of a power spike for him. But you do have Kha'Zix actually recalling. How much gold does he have? 1.7k. Already has the Hex String Cut and the Tear of the Goddess. He's going to be finishing off the Brutalizer. Is he going to add anything to that? Still got 1,000 gold in his back pocket. You have Nautilus jumping on towards Bano, but nothing really going to kick off there. Longsword and boots have been finished onto Kha'Zix as well, so he is looking to be a maneuverable assassin.
Yeah, one thing I do like though is that actually High Switch getting aggressive on Lego My Ego, but nothing going to happen from that. Kha'Zix is looking to come in as well. High Switch actually now getting aggressive, has been silenced, so Damne is going in. Olerin, that's actually Yamato Cannon going aggressive. High Switch jumps over the wall, but Olerin is going to keep chasing this down. Has got the Void Assault still available, has got the passive threat. Is he going to be able to go for the flash? But no, he's not wanting to go for that at all. But yeah, actually now Malunu getting charmed in the mid. Abyss has been caught though. Is going to be getting the death shot. Is going to be getting the damage from the rest. The Ignite goes down. The Crescendo comes back across though. Malunu going so low. We got the ultimate out from Bano and the teleport is coming in. It does look like Bano is going to be in a horrible situation now. We got Kassadin putting the silence down. Going to be trying to chase this down. Bano is out of ult charges and Lego My Ego jumps on him. Going to be throwing down the Null Sphere, taking the Lantern. Smooth as you like. Nicely done.
Kha'Zix just 1v2'd at top lane. He just 1v2'd Jarvan and Rumble, I believe that was. So, yeah, this is really scary position right now for Absolute Legends, as HeimerdingersCollosi are pushing the mid tower as well. So that's going to be 2-1, plus the 2 Drakes or thereabouts that they've got, and the scary characters who are starting to get the ball rolling. Varus 3-1, Kassadin 1-0, and Kha'Zix just picking up that double kill at top lane moves to 2-0. There isn't a great deal that I'm looking at right now from Absolute Legends where they can retort back, where they can answer the call and really push HeimerdingersCollosi back and say, look, we're still in this fight, we can still do something. I can't see where it's going to come from, Spuddington.
Oh, but at bottom we've actually got the grab landing on Snipify. We've got the flame missing actually, so Snipify goes extremely low, but doesn't actually die. And yeah, I have to say I agree with you at the moment. Absolute Legends aren't really equipped to deal with this split pushing that's coming out from HeimerdingersCollosi, and that's causing them a huge amount of problems. Oh, also, I should clarify, Olorin is actually Yamato Cannon on a Smurf. I don't know if I mentioned this already, maybe I forgot, maybe not, whatever. Doesn't matter, he is, that is. Extinct, however, is subbing out Lego My Ego, is not a Smurf, as far as I'm aware. So, there we go. And not a lot going on, but worth noting right now, quite a lot of wards, actually, in the enemy jungle there, put down by HeimerdingersCollosi, and I think that's going to make it even harder now for Absolute Legends to deal with that split push.
Yeah, that's almost like a declaration of intent, where HeimerdingersCollosi are thinking, we're so strong right now, they obviously must know that there are a large chunk of gold ahead because of the towers and because of the kills and CS across the board, but they must feel so strong that they're just realizing, we can pretty much live in Absolute Legends jungle, and there's not a great deal they can do about it. They've lost their mid tower, they've lost their bottom tower as well, so this could be the place where you see the Kassadin and Kha'Zix combo really coming to fruition, picking players off. You do have Jarvan actually being slightly aggressive on towards Lego My Ego, but it's all too easy for him to escape, so the reason he didn't even bother using his Cataclysm, because he knew that Kassadin would escape almost instantly. But again, this is what you're seeing. You're seeing 3 players camping in the opposition jungle, now going to be pulling themselves back, realizing that they may very well be outgunned. We do have some action at top lane now, though, with Odane trying his best to go toe-to-toe with Yamato Cannon, but he is 2 levels behind. He is a lot of damage behind as well. The Void Spikes has landed, and that's going to signify the end of that engage. Meanwhile, I just saw that the Flag and Drag was used from Jarvan to get back to his tower, was feeling the heat from the Kassadin.
Yeah, at the moment it definitely feels like Absolute Legends are trying to stall this out, and it does feel at the same time like HeimerdingersCollosi are just very slowly pressuring them in. You can see they're kind of chipping down the towers. They're just putting a bit of damage on that mid, quite a bit of damage on that top. Varus is pushing in this bottom lane, and Snipify is going to have to go and deal with that, but he has to be careful because Kassadin is actually looking like he might try and emulate that, might try and follow him down. He's certainly out of sight, and that's a little bit scary. Malunu just dodges the charm there. High switch actually not going to go for the flag and drag. Snipify is dueling freeze though, and it is actually going to be a Kassadin coming in over the wall. Null Sphere jumps on him. There we go, easy kill, and that is the difficulty they're facing right now. It's the roaming.
Yeah, the party pooper Kassadin, he has been caught though from Ari. Will Rift walk away, doing a lot of burst damage on towards Banner, going in for seconds, forcing the Spirit Rush away. So that is an ultimate pop from Ari. Defensively, doesn't have a huge cooldown though, just around 90 seconds, so we'll be back up before you know it. But Kassadin is coming back in once again. He is bloodthirsty. He wants to take down his mid counterpart, but doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Jarvan is coming around from the side, going to Rift walk over the wall and be a-okay, but I completely agree with what you just said. It's like they're chipping away, slowly but surely going to knock that wall down. Very much like predators right now, HeimerdingersCollosi. They're waiting for that opportune moment to strike for the jugular and to just completely take down the beast that is Absolute Legends. Again, going to chip away with more global gold, taking down their 3rd consecutive Drake. Nothing Absolute Legends can do about it. If they even try and venture that far, you've got a Kha'Zix waiting. Look at where Yamato Cannon's positioning is right now. He's keeping himself hidden. Of course, he's going to start moving now, but he was keeping himself hidden, hoping that Rumble would overextend so that he could just crush him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I am harping on this so much, but control of the game right now. I said it in Champion Select. Whoever gets control over the flow of this game is going to be in charge to win it, and it definitely at the moment feels like HeimerdingersCollosi, because, oh boy, you may not want to go there, Odamne. I'm not actually sure that he couldn't duel Kha'Zix, because Kha'Zix obviously tends to remain in melee range if he's going all in, but it's definitely a good move actually by Abyss to try and take this Oracles to get control over their jungle. But we are going to be having Mithy doing much the same, and now it's kind of a vision war, because if you're blind, it's obviously a lot harder to split push, and that gives more opportunities for that 5-on-5 engagement, of which we have yet to see even a single one. I feel I should probably mention, even though that is the comp that AL are definitely running, they're just having too much trouble getting in the right position, and Kha'Zix is pushing in that top.
Yeah, just look at the map right now. Kha'Zix at top, Kassadin at bot, going to be moving in. Could very well come head-to-head with Ari right now. Any second now, it's 2 levels above. What's the burst damage like? It's huge. Don't know if he actually missed his Force Pulse there, but still did a lot of damage. In the meanwhile, Kha'Zix is pulling himself back, and this 1v1, in fact, Ari's going to go down. Kassadin going back in again. Lego My Ego just going so aggressive, does pick up that kill, and the damage is just way too much. We've now got more flashing up players as Sona has been Chain of Corrupted. Misfortune trying to fire back with the bullet time. Sona will go down from Kha'Zix, who's got his reset. Now Depth Charge comes in on towards Misfortune. We could see all hell break loose. Equalizer goes down, trying to get rid of this onslaught. Nice lantern there from Mithy. Will pull back Maluno. Box has been used on towards the high switch. He still has his Cataclysm up and available, but another beautiful death sentence comes in, and there's Yamato Cannon soaring through the sky, gonna pick himself up another kill. 4-0, and it just got a whole lot worse for Absolute Legends.
Death sentence living up to its name. That was just Jarvan's execution, and now we are just seeing even more pressure. I said it was slow before, but now it's building up into a very fast erosion. All these towers are dropping. Bano actually gets caught with so many hooks. He's got so many hooks. Flay comes down. Crescendo goes across. It's not going to be enough. Bliss gets deleted. Now we've got Olerin going in, and actually the surrender vote comes out. Such a dominating performance, it's got to be said, by HeimerdingersCollosi. From 2-0 down, they just won 3 games in a row, convincingly every single time against Absolute Legends, and I've got to say, props to them. They deserve this win.
I think you just touched upon the reason why that surrender vote came in, not just because they were so far behind, but they were 2-0 up. They were basically at match point, knowing that the next 3 games they just had to win 1. And they've been on the receiving end of a battering the last 3 games. That is 2 clinical victories back-to-back for HeimerdingersCollosi. And if you have a look at the scoreboard there, it doesn't make for very nice reading if you're an Absolute Legends fan. Ari 0-4, Misfortune 1-4. That's pretty painful. You know, the carries combined got a 1 for 8 scoreline. And they were so far behind on gold. The Kassadin and Kha'Zix combination just really excelling HeimerdingersCollosi towards the finishing line. So that's going to do it, guys. That is the final game of this evening. Congratulations to HeimerdingersCollosi. Commiserations to Absolute Legends. We have a few things to announce, though. Of course, as you're very much aware, we are running a giveaway, a laptop giveaway this evening. And we said it would be coming about after the conclusion of the best of 5. That is indeed going to be the case. So, Spuddington, we are going to give it away on Raid Call server 7007. It should be entitled Kaostv's laptop giveaway. But I believe you're going to go through in a step-by-step basis on how they need to join the RC channel to be in contention to win this laptop.
Yeah, so should be coming up on screen in just a second. We'll be bringing up the client. Obviously, you can find Raid Call if you just follow the link in chat, or if you Google it, you can download it from there. Obviously, then install the program. It will ask you to log in. You can make an account. Very easy to do. Doesn't really require much effort. Once you have logged in, then you will see a page which should say something along the lines of groups, like search for more groups, and what you'll find then is that in the top left corner of that screen of Raid Call, there will actually be a search bar. Within that search bar, you type in 7007, press enter. Once you've joined, it should say Absolute Legends Raid Call, I believe, something along those lines. Once you're in there, you will see on the left, there will be a large number of drop-down menus, one of which should be entitled Kaostv Laptop Giveaway. Once you've joined the Laptop Giveaway channel, which you can do by double-clicking on it, I know, important instructions here, but once you've joined that particular channel, you should be asked to become a member of Absolute Legends, something along those lines as well. Once that's happened, you will be entered into the channel, and we should be doing the giveaway in 5-10 minutes, not very long away. Other than that, I don't think.
Did they hear that? What was that? Just
Well, I'll unmute. That's easier.
You explain that.
Indeed.
Our producer was just talking invisibly to us, and we were just getting confused by his instructions. So, go ahead.
So what I'm actually gonna do now is I'm gonna tell them to lock the channel. Give me a second. And then once that's done, people can't enter anymore. Once the channel is locked, what we'll actually do is we'll end up running a random.org. So I don't know if anyone's ever heard of random.org, but it's just like, you know, we say, okay, there's so many people in the channel, run a random number, and then we'll just like run it down from top to bottom, see where that number is, and that person that wins at that moment will actually will actually win the laptop. I'm actually being told now indeed that because there are so many people joining, because I figure, you know, with a little bit of the stream delay and whatnot, it might actually be worthwhile to actually just yap on another 5 minutes, let everyone join. I'll keep it open so people might actually, you know, understand, you know, that there's a giveaway being done. But I suppose that it's good if you guys just talk a little bit more about what actually happened today. You know, maybe small recap. I don't know if Metis has an MVP by any chance.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. You like to do that, Bass.
Yep.
Scumbag. It's a tough one actually. I would need to think about that for a few moments because both teams, I feel, have a shout for MVPs. I think both teams performed very, very well. We had a few stomps, yes, but the games were by and large overall, I would say, fairly even. And HeimerdingersCollosi just had the luck of, well, I wouldn't say the luck, but the gift of momentum on their side towards the end there. I would say Lego My Ego, in terms of being a replacement for Extinct and maybe not playing a great deal with these guys before in this kind of setting, did a phenomenal job. He was good on pretty much every character I saw him playing, and he actually played 4 characters, I believe, throughout the best of 5. So jack of all trades. So I would probably say Lego My Ego is my MVP. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that, Spellington, or if you have your own opinions.
Let's get like 2 or 3 names.
Oh,
so I said let's actually get a couple of names out there so we can run a poll in chat that people, you know, let us know what they think.
Well, if you want the names, then you could look.
Yeah, but I don't want all of them. I want you like your top 3 pick as the
so
guys
I'll
that
give
know
you
everything.
my shortlist then. I go Lego My Ego. I go Freeze. I'd go Abyss. And I think I'd go Snipify if I had to choose 4.
Okay, I'm reading the chat here, and Senyi is I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but he's saying say Draven because he was so strong. So I'll say Freeze. Freeze's performances on Draven were astronomically huge. Again, Lego My Ego, I would definitely put in there, and I would be maybe adding in Maluno. I think Maluno made a lot of plays throughout the games for HeimerdingersCollosi. He made a lot of things happen. He had great control over the map as well. So those would be my 3 picks.
Okay.
Yeah, well,